What's up, everybody? Happy Friday the 13th. Welcome to another episode of Power Hour with me and Giles Tiger Thomas. Today we're here to talk about the Arnold Classic happening in 3 weeks. The two favorites for this show, still in my mind, Hadi Choopan and Andrew Jacked. And I was on Team Andrew Jack just like Giles until I started seeing updates of Hadi Choopan last week. And now I'm thinking, I don't know. So you've seen the updates, Giles. Are you still 100% certain that Andrew's going to beat this?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Yeah. That's all you're getting out of me. Yes. I mean, to be honest, I know people were very, very impressed and excited about these updates because I saw the other one where it was just his back. But to be honest, that's kind of where I'd expect him to be at the stage he's at. He's always conditioned. He always looks good in the lead up. I mean, I think he knew he wanted to do the Arnold pretty much. I'm curious to know when he wanted to do it, because for me, I think he knew he was in as soon as he walked off stage at Olympia. Plus, obviously, the prize money as well. Once that was announced, I thought, okay, I would imagine Hadi would definitely be in because he does, it's a lot of prize money. And I think he knows that he will be going in as a front runner, which he is really, he was second at the Olympia. So he's, everyone was like just losing their shit as if it was something new that Hadi had brought. But I mean, I'm not dissing him, because at the end of the day, more of the same is incredible, because he is incredible and he's always incredible. So looks fantastic, looks exactly as I expected him to be. I'm not really seeing anything new. I think the condition is bang on. Yes, my eyes still, unfortunately, do go to the shoulders. I'm sorry, but it's something that it's something that I'm not looking for it, but unfortunately, it is something that does pull my eye, whether I like it or not. I have no choice in this. But he looks good. He looks fantastic. He obviously didn't get it out of shape after the Olympia. And, probably had his sights set on this show pretty much straight away. He's going for the prize money. I don't blame him. I'm just happy that he's also doing the show, because obviously all the issues in Iran and visas and everything else. So where is he? So I asked you this last week. So is he in Dubai now, or is he in America now?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. So
I don't think he's in, if he was in
social media.
Well, we would know if he was in the U.S. because Hani Rambod, he always makes a post when Hadi arrives.
Good point.
He can't be here yet, or else we would have. They always let us know immediately. But the reason I'm starting to doubt Andrew's assurance of victory is that I was thinking, with everything going on in Iran right now, and I just read it might be 50,000 people that the government has killed now. 50,000. It's a horrible. It blows your mind.
That's like Syria. That's like Syria or bloody all different other countries, where I think that's their own people. I mean, let's not get into all that, because it's just horrific, and it's just going to put us on a downer, and it's not bodybuilding, and it's horrible, and it's just, and I just really feel for those people. But and because Hadi hasn't been in Iran for a few weeks, he's been in Dubai, hasn't he? How long has he been in Dubai for? Do you know?
It's very confusing, because when he posts, you don't know how old the posts are. Like those videos, the clips that he put up, those weren't current. Those are already 2 or 3 weeks old at the point when he posted them. But my point is, with everything going on in Iran and his fans turning on him, I didn't think mentally and psychologically he'd be able to focus 100% on the contest, because he's not a robot. He's not a machine. He's got feelings. He's got 3 children. He's with all that going on, I didn't think he would be able to be as laser focused on prepping for this as he could or should be. But based on those updates, I think we're going to see at least what we saw at the Olympia from him. I don't think he's getting better, and I guess that's what we'll have to start talking about. Is Andrew is getting better? Is he going to be able to improve enough from the Olympia and the Romania shows to this Arnold Classic to be able to get past Hadi? Because obviously to this point, he's never gotten past Hadi, but up until the Olympia, he had never gotten past Samson either. So a lot of questions, a lot of question marks.
Well, firstly, touching on the whole Iran thing. I mean, you're right in that respect, that he's not a robot, he's human. And the thing is, if there's 50,000 people, like, you're telling me he didn't know at least one of them that one was a friend, a family member, a business associate. So that's horrific, and that's coming from your own people. So anyway, let's just put that aside for now, because like I said, it's horrific, and it's a whole different subject in itself. And like you said, this is the point I made the last few weeks. Hadi, as I said in the opening here, like this is kind of more of the same, which is incredible. Like Sean Ray for those 13 years, you pretty much know it's in Dexter Jackson. It's like an achievement in itself. The fact that they're still bringing as good a look. You're not seeing. Sometimes we've seen the athletes in the last, like literally in just that last 1 or 2 years of their career. Ramy in 22. I mean, what he brought in 22, I did not expect. I mean, there was significant, downside of his physique. His physique really fell apart in that 1 year. Lou Ferrigno in 94, like they come up and you expecting them to look at as good or even 95%, and they look drastically worse because it's just for whatever reason, injuries or whatever, multitude of reasons, their physiques they just can't pull it together. And it's not even a gradual slide. It's like great, winning Olympia, douche, they just drop. We've seen it happen many, many times, and other times we've seen it where it's just been a gradual. Like Ronnie's was over like 2005, 2002, 2007. It was like over a 3-4 year period. You could start to see things starting to, atrophy and just not look quite right. And also meaning that there was no more improvements coming. Their physiques really had maxed out several years before. Okay, I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
Would Romania Andrew be Olympia Hadi that he brought last year? Like what Hadi brought to the Olympia would remain if Romania Andrew was next to him, who would beat who?
Well, I guess we don't have anything to go by. I mean,
just your opinion.
Well, I think Hadi still would have beaten him, and I'll tell you why. It's just because Andrew's condition wasn't better in Romania. He was fuller, but his condition wasn't better. Yeah. That look with that fullness, with a tiny bit more condition, would beat Hadi. But we haven't seen that yet. I'm wondering if that's what we're going to see in 3 weeks in Columbus, finally.
Sorry, what are we going to see?
I'm saying if we see this fuller Andrew than he was at the end. So this is Romania. If we see that, and Hadi looks exactly the same, obviously we know Hadi's not getting better. He's maxed out. He's phenomenal, but he's as good as he's ever going to get. And Andrew is still improving. Yeah. It really just comes down to, is Andrew going to be improved? Has he been able to make improvements since Romania? Because we know he filled out a little bit between shows. But
I disagree. I think actually Andrew actually gained muscle. I spoke to Kamal about this, and I said, he's fuller in this. And I said, no, I think he's actually gained muscle. I think he's actually gained because things with Andrew, I think it's more prevalent with the really, really tall guys. To keep that fullness and bring the dry condition is an absolute nightmare. It seems to be harder for the taller guys. I've seen it with Dennis Wolf. I've seen it with Samson, and we saw it with Andrew, because I remember, like I said, I keep saying he sent me those pictures 3 days before. And I said, what? And he said, look at my legs, bro. Because his legs kind of look at the Arnold Classic last year. Andrew's legs looked like shriveled up. Do you know what I mean? They just didn't, they had no pop to them. They look small for him, but then he sent me these videos. He said, and if you'd asked me when it was, I would have said, oh, that looks like a couple of weeks ago. And he says, no, that was like 2 or 3 days before what you saw at the Arnold. I can't remember whether it was the Arnold or the Olympia. I think it was the Arnold. And he says, like, and honestly, the difference was crazy. Like we see it with Wesley Vissers. I mean, I've seen Wesley, like a week out or 5 days out, and his legs look nice and full. The chest looks nice and full. And then I saw some content of him backstage at the Olympia, and it's just at that last bit where they're either just trying to get dry and make a weight cap, or they're just trying to get in condition, like Andrew has, obviously with no weight cap. And it's like something just happens where it just comes off those body parts you least want it to, right at the last minute, and they can't quite get that combination of. In fact, look at the front lat spread at the Olympia. I mean, that's night and day from what we saw at Romania. It's a shame you can't get this video content literally right next to the Romania Andrew, because the front lat spread, it's like a different guy altogether. It looks like a 10, 15 pound difference, not like, and not sort of just and not just an issue of conditioning, but a condition of a sort of actual muscle gain. Because I think I maintain, I don't think it was just fullness. I think it was actual muscle he gained, like I said, which I've never ever seen before, and I didn't think previously was possible. So I don't think that was just fullness. I think it was actual muscle that he gained. So that's just my own personal opinion. I don't know how people feel about that, but personally, I think Romania Andrew would have beaten Hadi, Olympia Hadi. I really do.
Fair enough. Well, if that's the case, then we know that Hadi, he can't get any better than he was at the Olympia. He won the finals. He beat Derek Lunsford at the final. So if he brings that to the Arnold Classic, and Andrew is looking like Romania, I mean, he couldn't look worse than Romania unless Chris Aceto messes up, which is highly unlikely. Chris is the technician. He knows exactly what he's doing. So, yeah, I mean, based on this argument you just posited, I would say, yeah, Andrew's still the front runner. It's just, it would be a landmark. If he beats Hadi here, obviously he's a huge favorite to win the Olympia. Because, up until this point, he's never beaten Hadi Choopan. Hadi's beaten him at every single outing they've had so far, as has Derek. But you never beat someone until you beat him.
What do you mean? We said before. What do you mean Hadi can't get any better? What do you mean?
I think he's maxed out. He's got all the muscle he's ever going to have in his life, and condition-wise, we've seen his absolute best condition a couple times. I don't think he can be any better than he was at the finals for this last Olympia.
I think his back could have been drier because I've seen it drier. I've seen it harder, drier, more separated. Those two Arnold Classics, because that's the thing with Hadi. That's his Achilles heel. Like at this Arnold Classic. Now, remember the first time he turned to the back at the Columbus, Ohio, and I was just like, I punched the end. I was like, yes, he's got it right, finally. But then, looking at this footage now, he looks in the upper body. You look at his chest, his arms, everything's not quite as full. Even though it's probably the softest we've ever seen him from the back, and I'm probably contradicting myself here. I really like the look that Hadi brought when he won the Olympia, because he was. I spoke to Hadi, and he said he was 10 pounds heavier than the 21 Olympia, and I was just like, okay, but that fullness and density. Like people said that the look that he brought to this Arnold Classic was his best ever, and I'm not sure really, because I'm kind of, like I said, I'm really contradicting myself because I'm saying I want to see him crispy and separate and stuff, but then he seems to lose that fullness. So it's I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, look at the 22 Olympia look won in the Olympia. Like we can give the same argument to Samson. Yeah, he could have been drier and harder, but that look at the 24 Olympia won him the Olympia. So, but then we say we want better condition, and then they flatten out and they don't quite look as good. And then we're saying, well, actually, I preferred the other look. So it is a bit of, I think maybe it comes down to personal opinion. And, but I'm trying to, what's your favorite ever look of Hadi then? What's your favorite ever look?
I'd say when he won the Olympia. So that was 2022.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I like that.
Nothing is dramatically different though. He never looks dramatically different. Like, oh, Hadi's way off, or it's always, I'd say, like a 5% difference at most. It's just like Dexter. Dexter was never off, but sometimes he was a little harder than other times.
Yeah. See, I like the. I mean, obviously, we will talk about the 2019 Vancouver, the 2017 San Marino. We all say that that those were beautiful looks, but then he would have been too small. Because I remember in 21 when he came out with the pointy shoulders, and but overall his conditioning was the best up there. I mean, that's why I keep going on about the whole shoulder thing. It's because, like, mate, you probably cost yourself not just a placing, or two. You probably cost yourself the Olympia, because Milo said it, other people said it. Said, look, if you hadn't done that, I spoke to judges. I don't want to drop the judge in it. Well, the thing is, I mean, no. One of the judges said, Giles, that probably did cost him Olympia, because like he was the best up there. He was the best conditioned. But then again, next to Brandon and Rami and stuff, he probably still wasn't big enough. So they get up, but they lose a bit of condition, but they add density and stuff like that. And then, like you said, we see what we saw 22. Because I was there, I was watching it, and I was like, this is a good look. But from the back, I was kind of hoping that he could just get more crisp separation. But then when he does, see what happened at the Arnold Classic, and he kind of loses fullness with his chest and everything like that. So I think sometimes we're never, I think sometimes when you look at people like Phil Heath, I think, that was a guy that always you never saw him flat. He was always round and full and separated and dry. And he was kind of like the look that every single pro wants to attain, that combination of fullness and conditioning and hardness and everything, and it makes it look effortless. So I suppose, but Samson's struggling with it. I mean, he's always struggled with it. It's a constant trade-off for Samson. It's something that he's had to learn the hard way. Because he either comes in like he did when he won the Olympia, or I did like Hadi's look at this Arnold. Sorry, the last Olympia mind. I thought his front double bicep. In fact, I said it on record. I said I think on balance, I think this is probably one of my favorite looks from Hadi ever. Because yes, compared to say 5, 6, 7 years ago, there's things starting to just small, tiny little details that are starting to little bits of wear and tear and. Yes, the left leg is a little bit, the right leg. The calves aren't as good as they were. The bicep and the tricep are starting to climb up a little bit. But these are real tiny, tiny, minute, fine details that, let's be honest, most people don't even notice. But I just basically want to see Hadi nice and full. But I want to see him crisp as when he won the 2 Arnold Classics in 24. I think if he does that, then I think Andrew's going to have his hands full.
True. Now, speaking of Andrew, now you might be privy to. I'm not asking you to share pictures or anything, but do you know what he's looking like? Because he has not put anything up in terms of physique updates since that little leaked thing with the front double bicep. Well, that wasn't leaked.
Yeah. I'm being slack because this morning I was doing my cardio and I thought, I know what I'll do when I've done my cardio. I'll message Kamal and say, how's he looking? How's he doing? And then usually what happens is they'll say, Giles, this is for your eyes only. Don't show this to anyone. And I always honor that. I've never, ever leaked anything or privately said, hey, Ron, check this out. I don't do I don't do that. Right. Because at the end of the day, that's a real privilege to be able to get a glimpse, and the fact that they trust you enough to sort of not show 20 people in confidence is something I sort of I take it seriously because I have to. You have to because that's how you build a good reputation. But I don't actually know. Because obviously I need to speak to Andrew because I'm organising these tours for him. Yeah. To be honest, I like to kind of leave. I will message Kamal. And because because thing is, he'll tell me privately, good or bad. Do you know what I mean? He'll just give it to me straight. It's like Neil Hill. Neil Hill will tell you. He'll give it to you straight, even if it's his own athlete. Obviously, and that's his own athlete. So sometimes I think I think he's had enough time out as well in Florida to get it right. It's not like a last minute thing. He's been out there long enough. The last update we saw, everything looked like he was bang on track. And I think Kamal will be watching him closely enough because I think he knows that. This is not him coming in as one of the one of the front runners. He's coming in as the potential favorite, and we're talking $750,000. So I don't think that Kamal or Chris Aceto are going to be taking their eye off the ball with Andrew for one single minute. So if anything was going wrong, I think I'd have heard. I think he's a steady hand, Kamal, and I think they'll be paying very, very close attention. So, but like I said, I will check up. And Kamal will give it to me straight. Okay,
because he's always in. The most we ever see is like he did post something in a tank top a couple weeks ago doing the laterals, but usually he's in these big hoodies. I know that's his clothing sponsor, so shout out to them. That's probably a 5XL that he's wearing right there.
He's such a unit, mate. As we say in the UK, he's such a unit. He's massive. In fact, he was very happy because I said to him, because I've got a new car coming in soon. And I said, look, regardless of the new car, I'm not going to be using it. I'm going to be getting the big 7-seater like I got for Ronnie and Susan. And because that made the tour so much better. Having something with so much space. And it was like, it was like a minivan thing, and it was lovely to drive. And I said, mate, you can also just have to have our stuff and to be, have this, like food and stuff. Because he's, I'll be making sure I'll have his diet laminated. I'll have it with me at all times on the tour schedule. Because I go into those kind of levels of detail, okay, training, food. Like I make sure it's almost as if I'm prepping myself. Do you know what I mean? And I'm on prep myself. But even though he's not on prep, I want to make sure he stays on track because I want him to win so badly this year, mate. I really do.
Oh, not only that, I think any athlete at his level who went on a tour like that with someone who wasn't attentive to their needs to eat every 2 hours and train, they would never do a tour with that person again.
Exactly. I mean, mate, he didn't miss a meal last time. You know, that, to be honest, that was a big deal for like Wesley. Wesley was like, and I said, look, and I said, just, you know, that was, I think, one of the things that also the fact that we brought his videographer and his wife, and because it was only, if it was like from America, I probably would have said no. I would have said no. But because it was only like a cheap sort of, you know, a budget flight thing from, you know, it's like an hour and a half flight or something. I said, yeah, go on then, it's not a problem.
Oh, really?
You know, so, you know, from bloody Amsterdam, it costs nothing. But yeah, so the food is one thing I make sure that we really stay on top of, because that's important, because I want him to be, you know, I want him to be making money. I want him to be, you know, doing what he's doing, promoting himself and the Olympia and everything else and putting himself out there. But I want to make sure that he's, because, I want to make sure he's fed, he's trained, and he goes home not feeling like he's sacrificed anything to do this, basically, is my point. So look at that though. God, look at that. Just awesome. I freaked out when I saw this. Do you remember? Amazing, isn't he? Amazing.
Man. So, well, I guess we're not gonna know what he looks like exactly until 3 weeks from tonight on stage in Columbus. But guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. Who's got this? Is it Hadi or is it Andrew? You should start a poll.
You see, the thing is, Ron, if I really pushed it, I could probably say to Andrew, mate, please show us how you're looking. Come on, this is just me. I won't show anyone. And he knows I wouldn't. Yeah, I could ask him that. But to be honest, these last few weeks, especially in this last, you know, I saw the post, I shared it, the 3 weeks to go till the Arnold, Ohio. Like, I really don't like to even contact him unless I absolutely have to. Yeah. Like, somebody asked me to do a video saying, oh, I'll be so-and-so on this date. And I was really even hesitant to send that. It's like a 20-second video. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't like to bother him, because I just want to, because the thing is, he probably feels obliged to do so and respond, which he always does, because he's very good at communication, and you don't have to go through anyone. You can go direct. So it makes it, that's why it's so easy to work with Andrew. But it's kind of like, it's the button I don't like to press unless I absolutely have to. You know, it's the red button on Trump's desk. You know that or the Diet Coke or the nuclear missiles. You know, it's like I don't like to press it unless I absolutely have to. So I just try like to leave them alone, and then as soon as the shows are on done, I'm like, okay, mate, we need to start promoting now, and you know, I start asking more of them, but because he's so locked in now, and I think he knows that he can win this, because just from chatting to him and seeing what he's putting out there, I think he's aware now that especially with Romania as well, because I think that gave him more confidence than how he did and how he looked at the Olympia, because many people said he should have won the Olympia. I mean, I thought third place was fair, but I think that and then the momentum of then going into Romania and bringing that look and shocking everyone, showing the improvements. And the thing is, now he's got that team in place to make sure that those improvements can continue. I think it's looking exciting for him for this year, mate.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. There's the tour so far. Yeah, I mean, we're all very anxious to see what he looks like, and I do appreciate the fact that he doesn't share a lot, because I like the element of surprise. Mm-hmm. And again, that way you're never disappointed, because every time someone looks a little worse than they did on Instagram, it's a letdown, and you're like, I was hoping to see what I just saw last week on Instagram or yesterday. So yeah, it's a strategy. Do
you think, because like, you know, we're talking about like, we won't mention the athlete, but we're talking about personas and being authentic and whether that's the real them or something they fabricated. Mm-hmm. Do you think, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
What?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to get into it. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, never mind. All right, well, let's switch gears. I think we've talked about Andrew and Hadi, but guys, let us know what you think. Let's look at Mr. Olympia, Samson Gouda, who I think he just announced he's not going to try to gain any more weight, so that's good.
Good.
Here he was recently in where was this? Was in the UK, right?
Correct. Yeah. It was a really big success by all accounts. Yeah, really good. I messaged Suki and I said, "Well done, mate." I said, because like I have sleepless nights just trying to organize one athlete, you know, and even though it's multiple dates and there's flights and travel and you know, and this was like one day thing. It's a big thing he organized, man. He pulled that together, and and I've not heard anything negative or any sort of you know, and all the bit stuff I saw behind the scenes of where he was introducing the athletes. Everyone looked happy. Everyone looked like it was. So to pull that off is it's actually making me. It got a bit of fire at my ass. It's making me want to up my game now as well, because I never want to get complacent what I'm doing with the tours. I want to make sure that, because we want to make these things as good as possible, because you want to make it a good experience. So the gyms book again, the athletes want to do it again. The people coming are just like, okay, you know, I'm going to be going to every single one of these. But to pull off what he pulled off to that level, I mean, I thought he was. I was blown away. So you know, to get all those names there is it's bloody impressive. So hats off to him, and it looks like he did an absolutely fantastic job.
So where was this in the UK?
I don't know, somewhere.
Okay, well, I thought the UK.
Well, it's two bros, so I wasn't going to go anyway, was I?
Oh, bloody hell! But so Ryan was there.
Yeah,
Terry there.
Shelley.
She's the fitness Olympia champ.
Correct.
So we had 2 current Olympia champs and 1 recent Olympia champ, all at this one seminar. And what I want to show you. So he did some posing. He did a little bit of posing on stage with what's this gentleman's name? This is
Yinka.
Yinka. I got to get the name right. Yinka Majolagbe.
Yeah, major muscle. He trains at my friend Paul Knight, ex-judge. He's Crayford Weights, who often books. He's booked just about everyone I've ever had. I think the only one he didn't book was Terence Ruffin. Yeah, it was. He won Prague. He's had like some third and fourth. Remember, he had the really bad gyno, and he did that show in Florida. And I think the head judge actually told him, he says, mate, you would have won. Because I looked at the standard, the other guys, and I was thinking, hang on, Yinka's a lot better than these guys. And he was 4th, and the judge actually said to him, mate, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but the gyno knocked you down from 1st to 4th. So get that fixed. So we had the surgery done. You know, in fact, I'm feeling really bad for him because all the comments, because I can't express how good I think this guy is and how good he can be. Because I don't think he was 195, but he's a good at least 15 pounds under the 212 limit. Now, when you see this guy, bring the we'll come back to this, but go to the Prague footage there, top left. See, look at that. Now look at every angle now, especially from the back. Like, try and pick a fault.
I want to see bigger calves. No, but yeah,
his calves are good.
Very, very, very balanced. Great shape on him.
Yeah, look at the condition.
More back thickness. I'd want to see some more back thickness.
He's a beautiful poser.
Yeah, it's a beautiful physique.
He's a cool guy.
The belt's all stripy, big.
Yeah, body. I mean, he's got the. Sorry, I'll let you. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm just curious. Do you know? Is he originally of Nigerian heritage as well?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. No, he's good friends with Samson. That's why I think they did that together. But look at the like just the balance of the legs, the separation. I mean, to me, he's almost like a Samson or a Sean Roden level of perfect. You know, everything just flows. He's got nice tiny waist. You've got the gut. Because I've been on his case because he came out for dinner with us when he took Ronnie to Crayford back in October. And he came with us afterwards. In fact, I got him training with, was he training? No, he wasn't training with Lee, but he was training with Andrew the last time I took Andrew on the first tour in October 2024. Tanya, Paul's wife, who owns the gym, obviously booked Andrew said, is there any way that he could, Andrew could train with, or Yinka could train with Andrew? And I said, don't worry about it. I said, if he's training, I said, it's fine. Because obviously they hit it off anyway. I think they talk. I think they knew each other from Instagram. And that was back in 2024. And this last year, it's been hugely successful for him. He's got Olympic qualification early for the following year.
Yeah.
He's made an impact. He's had the gyno fixed. He's got a good coach as well. I spoke to him as well back in Prague. He seems like a cool guy. I forget his name now. I can't remember his name now. But honestly, mate, I'm telling you, watch out for this guy, because I think he's like I said, the only thing I think I can fault him on is size. But even in Prague, all the guys he was in, every other guy in the top 6 was bigger than him. But it was no sort of doubt that he was not going to win this. But look at that. I mean, he's kind of like one of those perfect physiques. Like I said, all he needs is he's got time on his side, because I think he'll be I think he'll be. Sorry, phone's on. I think he'll be top 10 at Olympia, which is a good starting point. But I think a couple of years, I think this guy could be like a top 3, certainly a top 5 guy at the Olympia. I think he's that good. Wow. So I'm raving about this guy like I was in Samson back in 2020, before 2019, 2020 when Samson was just starting to get going as a pro. But honestly, mate, watch out for this guy. And the thing is, I'm excited and I'm really happy because I think the 212 does need some new talent. Yeah. I think after there was a bit of a lull, and also there was a couple of years where I thought the 212 was in trouble because there was a real vacuum of where Jose, Eduardo, Hidetada, the OGs of the 212, they were kind of all sort of moving on, and there was some good names, but no one, Derek Lunsford had a couple of years and then he jumped out, and it was only really Sean Clarida that was really kind of holding the fort with like Angel Calderon and guys like that in the 212. But to see new guys like this coming through who I think have the potential to actually win the Olympia, I think another year or two, and I think Keon and Sean Clarida, I could see him squeezing into the top 3.
Yeah, like I said, all he needs is a little more size. And you said he was like 195. He's well under the limit.
Yeah, he's well under. So if you're in that position where every box of condition, separation, balance, and a pleasing aesthetics, separation, everything, great presentation, and he's a new face as well. It's if they're ticking every single box, then the one thing they need is just that little bit more size. Even if he put on, I said to him, mate, don't. I said to him as coach at Prague, I was in the restaurant bit, the canteen bit, and I said, guys, I said, you don't even have to go nuts. Don't try and blow your physique up just to try and make it close to the 212. I said, even if you just put on 4 or 5 pounds of quality tissue now from because this was after pre-judge, and I said, mate, you're going to win that. And he was like, and he was all excited and all shocked. I said, and his mates were going, see, I told you. I said, no, I'm telling you now, you've won that. I said, there's no doubt in my mind that you've won that. I said, you can take that to the bank. And then he won. And then I said to him afterwards, because I speak to him quite frequently, and I said, mate, don't go nuts. I said, just don't rush it because, even 4 or 5 pounds of muscle tissue, keep that small waist, keep those aesthetics. I said, and just look at this as like a 2 or 3 year thing where, because the 2 or 3 years he could be maxing out on the 212, and then it's just a matter of just refining and then deciding whether he even wants to go open. I don't know, but I think the next 2 or 3 years are going to be very, very exciting for Yinka, and I think I keep calling him the 212 Samson because I think he could follow a similar trajectory of career. I think honestly, mate, I think he's that good.
Well, guys, remember that name, Yinka. Oh boy, now I got to go to the top. Yinka M. I know there's an M in there. So
Ron. He's a cool guy as well, and he's just a hardworking guy. He's got a good job and everything, and he's grounded, and he's just that's his coach there, Nathan. That's his Nathan. He's just somebody you want good things for, and obviously he's British as well, so I'm excited for him. I'm rooting for him. And it'll be interesting. But I think he'll definitely be top 10 at the Olympia, I think. And then the next 2 years after that, I think it's going to be game on.
Cool. Well, I want to shout out a couple more Brits because at one point people say, Giles doesn't do enough for UK bodybuilding. So.
Who's done more? Okay.
That'd be a great argument. So let's take a look at who did we want to look at in Classic?
Niall Darwin.
Where's his name?
Another one.
Isn't he in this? Oh, he's not in the. He's not.
No, he's not doing the Arnold, but he guest posed at the. He guest posed.
Oh, but who's the other guy? Kim.
Oh, Kim Angel. He's doing the Arnold.
Where is this? What's his?
I don't know where Kim Angel's from. Actually, can we clarify that?
I can't even find him on the list here.
Kim Angel. No, I'm sure Kim Angel's doing the. Yeah, he's doing the Arnold.
Interesting. Well, let's
hang on. I can't. Hang on. I was going to do that with the screen then on my laptop. Not sure you can do that.
I don't think he goes by Kim Angel. Oh wait, I think I just saw it.
Ron, do you ever do that with magazines? You go to enlarge the picture. Have you ever done that?
Of course. Well, you can't do it with a magazine. But
no, I've gone to do it many, many times. I was looking at something and I got, what am I doing? It's a bloody magazine.
Where is he from? That's a good question. Oh, no, it's some Spanish country, obviously, because that's definitely Spanish. I know the difference between Spanish and Portuguese. So this is Kim Angel. Yeah, I thought he was doing
Ron. I saw him in Prague, and I can't. First of all, I can't believe how big he is and how much size he carries. You know, you get those. Sometimes you get those 212s or those classic guys, and they're an anomaly because they look so much bigger than everybody else. I mean, this guy has got so much density and thickness. I mean, he is
in the Arnold. He's doing the Arnold.
Oh, Camp Angel.
Why wasn't he on that list that I just saw? I can't say.
Maybe he was, just missed it. Sometimes I do that.
It's possible.
This guy's got a lot of density, man. In fact, I wonder actually if he's ever considered doing 212 because he looks the kind of height where he might be I think he'd be a fantastic 212. Or maybe he's considered. Maybe he's too tall. I don't know. But I saw him in Prague, and obviously I'd seen his name pop up before. Mate, super impressive, and I think he'll be top 3 at the Arnold. I think. I mean, could he beat Wesley? I think he could beat. I think this is a guy that could beat someone like a Wesley.
This was 2 weeks ago. He was already looking shredded. So this was 5 weeks out.
He's awesome, mate. Honestly, check him out.
Yeah, why was he not on that list? Though? I'm going to look again because I feel like it's a moron. So Classic Physique. I'm looking on the right. Wesley, Matthias, Sam, Mike, Andrea, Paul, Hangman. Yeah, he's not on the list. I wonder why.
Wow.
There we go. No, I got it. It's Joaquin. His real name is Joaquin. That's why.
Oh, okay.
See, that's how they fool me. Which is
Ron? Do you see me doing the Mr. Magoo? Like, I think I might need glasses, mate. At 49, I think I'm at the stage now where I'm either. And I said to my friend Claire, I said, "Be honest now." I said, "If I had to wear glasses, would I look more like Clark Kent or Mr. Magoo?"
Mr. Magoo.
What did I say? What did I say with the glasses? I said, "Was it Clark Kent or Mr. Bean?"
Mr. Bean. So yeah, his real name is Joaquin, not Joaquin. Like most. See, in Spain, they seem to do things a little differently. That's why we have Juan Pardels instead of Juan.
Yes. Ron, look at his legs. Look at his legs from the side. Go back.
Just
zoom in on his quads there. I mean, that is a serious amount of muscle on those legs.
Yeah, those are ham hocks.
Jesus Christ.
That's a ham drop, as we say, when it really drops out like a crescent.
Look at the quads like a bloody racehorse.
Yeah, no, he's really good. Of course he could be Wesley. Samson
and Sean Roden have got legs like that, you know, when they turn to the side. And if you actually look at the amount of muscle, like it's always from the side. You know, when Sean Roden used to do that one with the intercostals. And just the legs, and also his legs from the front as well. I mean, he is just phenomenal, this guy. So he's Spanish.
Looks like Spain to me, yeah.
So some good classic guys come from Spain. You got Jesus.
Josema Beast.
You got obviously Josema Beast. You know, I mean, there's some incredible. I mean, Spain is. I mean, fair play to Emilio, really trying to nurture that talent. You know, because I think they've got 3 promoters in Spain now. That's how busy it is, and how much is, you know, and all the shows are thriving and doing well. Because I mean, Spain's quite a big country. I mean, the difference between, you know, North Spain and South Spain is vast. So the talent, like Germany, there's going to be a lot of talent, you know, in a lot of different areas. So it can take more than one promoter.
All right. Another great Brit in Classic Physique is Niall Darwin. Naz. His real name is Niall, but he goes by Naz, I think. You guys love your nicknames over there. Niall Darwin, One Punch Naz. So
absolutely, Ron, absolutely phenomenal. I think this guy can win the Olympia.
Yeah, I see the potential. Look at those quads. I'm a quad snob.
Look at that. I mean, thing is, what I said on that. Funny enough, I was saying on Instagram this morning. I said, you know what it is? I said if you can stand out, it really stand out in classic. You really are something special, because with the weight cap, you've got everyone of a certain level of development, you know, regardless of their height, because of the way that the formula, you know, works out. So everyone's in condition, everyone can pose. So if you can actually stick in people's minds, you know, like you think about, I mean, I've done classic shows and there's like 20, 30 competitors, and you go to another show and there might be 3 of the same guys. There's another 25 guys you've never heard of that are all incredible, because you very rarely see like duff, you know, really rubbish classic competitors, you know, because they're pros, you know. Yeah. But I mean, the sheer volume of classic competitors, shows, you know, if you can stand out, because we've got those top 6 Olympia guys, and yes, they're in a class of their own, really, and it is hard to try and get past them. But someone like Niall, for me, he stands out in my mind like Bumstead. You know, with the structure, the shape. Like he's very. I remember Andrew Jack said to me, and he said about the top 6 Olympia guys. And he says the difference between them, and he says, is that they're unique. Each one of them brings something very unique. That, you know, like a Nick Walker and Andrew Jack, they're very unique, but you couldn't get 2 different styles of physiques. But I'm telling you, Niall, like Yinka in the 212. I think in terms of like I said, we got Ryan Terry, we got Shelley, we got 2 Olympia champions at the moment, current, and we got Samson who could win it again, of course, and he's won it. Yeah. You know, I think look at that. I mean, that is like, to be honest though. I mean, I would imagine he's over the classic limit. Because he's not obviously quite shredded dry, but I mean, I can imagine him as a really good open guy as well.
Oh, anybody with great shape, you know, as long as they've got substantial mass, could do well in open. He's probably be a 212, I imagine.
He's amazing, isn't he?
You know how tall he is?
I don't look at the lat spread. Look at front lat spread. I mean, the thickness, like Dorian, like the roundness of the lats in the front is just mind blowing. And the thing is, he's got a really nice structure. He's got a lovely shape, nice small waist. I mean, here's a guy that, to be honest, normally when I only get like excited about the new really good open guys. I never get that excited about some of the other divisions, like, you know, classic, men's physique. But like then every now and again, someone will come along like Niall, and I get so excited, and I think he's phenomenal, mate. I really do.
Yeah, I could see an Olympia title in his future. He's right there.
What was he? Where did he place in Olympia?
I want to say 5th. Does that sound right?
Yeah, 4th or 5th, top 5. But I think he's. I mean, I don't look at. He's got a few improvements he needs to make from the back and stuff, but he's improving fast. But I don't think. The front lat spread is amazing. But I think if he keeps on the improvements and keeps that, you know, keeps on that straight road now, I think because I don't think Ramon is that much better than him.
No, I mean, I don't think Ramon was that much better than Mike. It's very, very close between the top 5 guys.
Yeah.
I don't see like Ramon dominating, like winning for years and years the way Bumstead did. Maybe he will, but I kind of doubt it. I think it's going to be a situation now with like the Open Olympia where we're going to see the title change hands a few times now.
I agree.
That's fine. That's good. It's good for everybody. It keeps it exciting.
It is. I mean, I wonder how many times we'll see bodybuilders losing the title and getting it back. Because remember, like when Jay did that in 2009, it was such a huge thing to happen. It was such a talking point. And now Missy's done it in the fitness. We've got Sean Carida's done it. Derek Lunsford's done it. Jay Cutler's done it. You know, it's like it's always, and I think it is exciting because, you know, we all love we're not really in an era of any dominant champions at the moment. I mean, Bumstead, the dominant champion, still, you know, had a couple of he got pushed by Summerfield. You know, a couple of judges felt that that Bumstead actually wasn't way ahead at all. So he nearly lost that. So, I mean, he didn't really lose it, but there was 2 experienced judges that felt that Bumstead wasn't, you know, on another level. In fact, they felt that the other guy was better.
All right. Well, I guess we have enough time. We can talk about this a little bit. Everyone's gonna think we're obsessed with Martin. Again, we say nothing but great things about Martin's physique. He looked phenomenal in Prague. This was the best look he's ever shown by a mile.
Easy. And do you know what, Ron? I think it has to be said. I think that end of that last season was so exciting because I saw a couple of things that I'd never seen before. I saw Andrew in Romania bringing what I felt was not just a fuller package, but actual gained muscle. So that's a first of something I'd never, ever seen before. And another thing was I've never seen anyone hold a peak as well as Martin did for those 2 days. I mean, in fact, like I said, that Ildiko, the Hungarian judge, she was like shaking her head because we spoke the next day. And we're speaking about Martin and Samson, about how close it was. Yeah. And she said, I've never seen. She said, you never see that. And I said, what? She says, you never see someone, you know, look as good on the second day as he did on the first. It's like when you saw him on the first day, you're like, oh, I see, he's peaking for the prejudging, and then we'll see something probably 95% as good the next day. But the next day, I don't know whether he looked better or not. I've got no memory of that, but he held it really, really well. In fact, I think that maybe credit to Stefan for someone, because Stefan was there, and I think obviously the guys are going to be more relaxed when they've got their coach there with them. But I'd be interested to know if they did anything specific or whether it was kind of like, because sometimes they'll, you know, like there's some athletes say, look, I'm looking to peak on the Saturday. So they do things deliberately that means they know they're trying to control when they want to be their best. But then I wonder if this was planned or whether it was just pure luck that he managed to hold his peak so well for 2 days. But he looked fantastic at both days, man. He really did. Whereas Samson kind of faded towards the end of the second day, you know.
So the whole thing. So Fuad's been talking. You know, I did a video a couple days ago. You didn't want any part of it, understandably, because he did make a statement on his Instagram stories that got screenshotted where he said, "I hate all the bodybuilding media. They are all trash," which was a very, very polarizing thing to say because he didn't say some or most. He said all. I don't know if he really meant that because there have been some channels that have been nothing but nice to him and complimentary. They've never said an unkind word. But
it's a bit of a sweeping statement, isn't it? See, the thing is, sorry, just quickly, I want to say quickly the one thing I want to say. I personally feel aggrieved by that because I see some of what you could term as media, and I just literally, it makes me want to cry. Some of the crap I see. You know, we know who we're talking about. You know, a couple of outlets, and then you've got the YouTubers, and then you've got the guys with a phone, and they just put stuff out on their own Instagram, who basically are commentating on and you know, and making observations, and you know, you could class them as media as well. I don't like the fact that we're all under the same umbrella. Because I don't think we are. I don't think someone like you or myself, someone who's actually been doing it professionally for decades. I don't like to be lumped in with the same group as some kid in a tank top eating his lunch, you know, sort of talking about, you know, going off some, you know, shitty free some feed or something, and he's making sweeping comments and judgments about bodybuilders' physiques and contests. I don't really want to be. I want to be as far away from those kinds of people. Maybe I sound a bit snobby. I don't care. Well, but I don't want to be lumped in with those people. So I think saying something like that is a little bit incendiary. Yeah,
and I mean, you know, I don't want to sound snobby either, but
we're gonna be.
Okay, so if you're ready to be a snob, in the magazine era, there were gatekeepers, there were editors, there were publishers, but mainly editors. If you were writing, because this was before video content took over as far as being our main source of information, if your writing skills weren't deemed good enough, you weren't getting printed in a magazine. Yeah. It wasn't for anybody who wanted to be in the magazine. It was a very exclusive. Very few people made a living as bodybuilding magazine writers, and I count my lucky stars that for many years that's how I did make a good living. But like I said, nowadays, literally anybody. Some 15-year-old pimply kid with his phone can say, "Samson Dauda looking horrible," and make a video.
I think is most of them. The thing is that the ironic thing is half of them, I bet, don't even mean it. They're just doing it to get a response. That's the bit that really winds me up. It's like if you're going to state something, you're going to make a statement that is disparaging to someone, you're going to put somebody down. At least mean it. Do you know what I mean? It's like at least mean what you say. Yeah. Don't just do it for a reaction. But also, Ron, another thing is, I mean. We've had, you know, yes, we've worked professionally for decades, but like not every single one of those outlets that you work for, you went to them. They came to you because of your reputation and the good work you'd put in. So it's not like you're some self-appointed YouTuber that's, like you said, some young kid saying, "I think this," and then they don't even mean it. You're somebody that is viewed as a professional, that you've had company. Like, I mean, why did they feel the needs? Bodybuilder.com, Flex. MD, why did they feel the need to fly me from another country? You telling me they couldn't find anyone with a good enough eye in their own country? You know, like so like, you know, I don't care if this gets me shit. I mean, don't put you or me group me in with these fucking idiots. I'm sorry, they're just they don't even mean what they say. They don't know what they're looking at. Sorry, I'm gonna get really Tiger Rant.
I don't want to toot our own horns any more than we already have, but it's like comparing a lawyer who's been in courtrooms for 30 years versus someone who's 3 weeks into pre-law at their local community college or something. You know, there are levels, there are many, many levels apart in what they know and how experienced they are. But in terms of Martin, so Fuad made a statement that, you know, Martin does have the physical potential to become Mr. Olympia. I think he can be a Mr. Olympia. I mean, I think anybody who's in the top 5 at the Olympia, potentially they could be Mr. Olympia.
Ron,
yeah.
Can I ask you something quickly?
Sure.
Before I forget. Olympia Derek, that we just won the Olympia, versus Prague Martin, who wins? Come on, Ron. I'll tell you. You tell me, and I'll tell you exactly what I think.
I think I would go with Martin on that one.
I think I would as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that really makes me so pissed off to see that. Tell you what, that comes down to integrity. See, when I talk about professional integrity, Ron.
Yeah.
The fact that, Mr. like bloody, did the very fact that we can separate our emotions, and our personal experience, lived experience, the fact that we can separate that and we can actually say that and say it with all honesty, with no agenda or trying to be sneaky about or have some ulterior motive. The fact that we can say that, see, that's what separates us from the other ones, the others, let's say.
Yeah, because he made this is the Olympia, and what was Romania? I'm sorry, Prague was 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later.
Yeah, this was the 24 Olympia run. He's better than last year.
Oh, that was 24. Are you sure? Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what? He's actually quite noticeably smaller here actually than he was. So actually, he was quite a bit bigger actually at the Olympia.
Oh, that's 20. Here's 25 Olympia.
Yeah, that's 25. But I mean, that was night and day from Prague. I mean, he was so much better in Prague. So much better.
So I guess the point that Fouad was making was he can be Mr. Olympia, and if Derek and Hadi, he's in their league, he can become Mr. Olympia physically. But if he's this sensitive to criticism and people talking about him now, when he's nowhere near the Olympia title, can you imagine how tough it's going to be for him if he becomes Mr. Olympia? Yeah. If he's lashing out at the media and fellow competitors, and it's I just can't see a Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia is supposed to be the ambassador of our sport to the world, and there is a certain standard of behavior and just the way you carry yourself, composure. You're held to a higher standard because you are the representative of our sport to the entire world. Ron, and he needs a publicist. He needs a publicist.
Ron, do you think? I mean, I did ask you this before we started filming. Do you think this is tactical? Do you think this is really him? Everything he's been doing, everything he's been saying. Do you think he's got an angle? Do you think he's got a plan? Because, and the thing is, if this is all fabricated, because we've seen it many times where, athletes, sometimes you think, are they, they'll sort of get into something. Like, remember, I remember the Craig Titus and who was he fighting with? Melvin Anthony, Kamali. I was at that Olympia, the 2001 press conference, and I was actually sat next to Kerry Kayes, and I said, Kerry, do you think really they're just all in on it? Do you think they're all just pals and they're all laughing backstage? And and because sometimes it's like you get these scenarios where these things happen. And then somebody will say, no, they genuinely really hate each other. And then other times you're like, yeah, there's been a few texts before this has all been planned. You know what I mean? To get some hype going and stuff like that. Because sometimes like the press conference and stuff. I mean, I remember Kerry Kay saying to me, he says, oh, Giles, these press conferences. He said, your first one? I went, yeah. He said, I've been to like 10 of them. He said, they're usually so boring. And within 2 minutes, it like exploded. And he said, do you know what, Giles? He said, it's just your luck. He says, the first Olympia, he says, and all these boring ones I've been to, he says, this happens to be the best one I've ever seen. He said, it was amazing. He said, so, but it was, that was because of the clashes, and then, all the different things started happening and stuff like that. But so if it is, so my point is, if this is fabricated, then what's his end goal? What's the end game? What's his so? Because I've been racking my brains really thinking about it, because I was thinking, like, when he said, you're talking shit about me and you say it to my face, because that's what he said to me when I checked the video. And I checked the video afterwards. I was because I didn't even know it wasn't a friendly interaction until Samson got involved and then started glaring at me and then I heard the word motherfucker, and I was just like, and then I went, hang on a minute, because I didn't hear what Martin said. It was so noisy. It's only when I checked the video afterwards I checked and heard what he said. I didn't know it wasn't a friendly interaction. So,
your question was, do I think it's intentional that No, I do not. I think he's being his 100% authentic self. He's a young guy. He's 29. It's not that young. I mean,
yeah, you should know by now.
I remember when 29-year-olds were married and had kids and owned their own homes. That was normal. But I think that's just who he is. He's got a little bit of a temper, clearly. Maybe some insecurities. He can't stand criticism.
Yeah, but hang on. So just quickly get this out. He said I was talking shit. So when I watched the video, it's like, you're talking shit about me. And I was thinking afterwards, I I said to AJ, I said, AJ, if I talk shit about him, I said, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. I said, and if anything I say is about the physiques, I never get personal. I never say, I'm not, I as a professional, it's something I've never, ever done. And it's why I've kind of done what I've done for so long. And I said, hang on a minute. So was I talking shit when I said he should have beat Lunsford at the 24 Olympian being third? I was very vocal about that on here, online, on bloody everywhere. I mean, it was very much out there. I didn't hide it.
Should have beat Samson.
This year, I think he should have beat Samson. I said on the watch party, and then I put it online and I put it out there because I remember writing it thinking, oh shit, I'm going to piss Samson off now. But it's like, you can't win, but sometimes you've got to say what you think. And I was thinking, well, so does he think I was talking? Is that what he's talking about? And then I put online today, I actually said, or was he pissed off that I think he shouldn't have won both shows? Like, is he in that sort of headspace where he actually thinks that I'm actually talking shit because I don't think he should have won both Olympias? And then I went, no. I said, I can't be that. That's too far. I think that's too much of a stretch. So I'm trying to rack my brains and thinking, so am I talking shit then? Because when you ask them and you try and challenge people, they just go quiet because it's like, oh, so I'm talking shit when, do you know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, he also, Fouad made a post a few weeks ago saying he was disappointed that Martin said that Fouad didn't believe in him, right? Which
fucking sponsored him.
He paid him very good money for a long time.
I know, Ron. Sorry, I know what he paid him as well, and it was a decent amount of money, and that was before even before he'd won a show. And because I remember the person told me, and he said, Giles, he's on this much a month. I went, I said he hasn't even won a show yet.
It's a good amount of money.
I said, it's a decent amount of money. I said, that's someone who's really got belief in someone. So for him to then say, you didn't believe in me, I mean, to be honest, that is actually laughable. So I'm purely on, I bet Fouad was fucking, I can't imagine. I bet Fouad bloody hit the floor when he heard that one.
Yeah. It was a low six figures, guys, just in case you want to know. That's all.
Yeah.
But, so Fouad, he said basically what we said. We have to have integrity when we're making predictions about shows, especially.
Yep.
And if we think someone's going to place 4th or 5th, we're going to say it because Fouad had him 5th in the Olympia, and that's exactly where he placed. So that just shows.
Are you about the lead up or before or after?
Yeah, it was in the lead up. Fouad had him predicted taking 5th in the Olympia, which is exactly where he placed, which shows Fouad knows what he's talking about. But Martin was disappointed that he didn't have him winning.
Fuck it up.
I understand you could say people. It's not talking shit when we don't have you. If you're Mr. Olympia, if you're a runner-up, then we're going to have you as a favorite for the Mr. Olympia. Or Andrew, 3rd place was a very, very close 3rd place. But when you're 4th or 5th, you're not quite there yet. You're knocking on the door, but you're not quite there yet.
Do you know what it is though, Ron? It's like you're always going to be setting yourself up for stress. Because if you think that every single person should think that you should win every single show every single time, and anyone who doesn't is talking shit about you and against you, and and it's like you're a hater, and it's like if you're going to sort of look at it that simplistically, with that you're always going to be angry, you're always going to be pissed off, and the thing is, like, the competing days are the days that are the most fun. These are the bits that are going to set you up for life. Yeah. So if it's like Ronnie said to me, he said, Giles, he said, I tell the young guys, he said, I always say to them, like, he says, when I think back on my career, he says, when I think about it, it went by in such a flash. He said, I blinked and boom, the whole career was, it was done. And literally I'm walking off stage for the final time, knowing it's my final time. He said, I always tell them, like Chris Bumstead, he says, like, try and, towards the second half of Chris Bumstead's career, he said, I really tried to live more rather than thinking about the next Olympia. Okay, I won the Olympia, right? I've got to get ready for the next one. Dorian was like that. And Dorian said this to me as well. He said, I wished I'd took a bit of a moment just to kind of breathe it in and experience it and live in it. And also, the good feeling and the sort of positive emotion that, achieving your goals and improving and working your way up the ladder. Because the thing is, like Martin now, is his career is on an upward trajectory. He's in there. He's really he's winning. He's just beat Samson, who was really improved from the Olympia. It wasn't like he didn't beat a bloody lame Samson, like an injured donkey. It wasn't someone who, in a bloody derby. Like, he's just someone he beat, like one of the best guys on the planet, who was 80% of what he was when he won the Olympia. So he's just, he's taking names, he's taking scalps. He's moving up, So you think he should be like just in love and with everyone, and just, do you know, it's like he should be so happy, he should be buzzing right now, and instead he's like, it's not like his career is like on the slide, it's the opposite. So I don't get it, Ron.
I don't get it, because he's got a new contract. I'm sure he's doing well financially. He's got a great woman by his side. He's got a lot of fans who are standing by him no matter what he says or does. Physique-wise, getting better and better. He's clearly a candidate for a future Mr. Olympia. But, you know, like we talk about guys like Jay and Ronnie and Kevin Levrone, and they've always said that their success years down the line after they retired all started when they were competing, with how they treated people and the relationships they built, and just the goodwill that they fostered among all the fans and the media people. But everyone wants to work with you later on in life. And, you know, if you set yourself up as an angry person and you hate everybody.
But Ron, it's right now where the companies are going to be queuing up at his door to be endorsements, like the energy drink companies are going to, like Celsius are going to say, oh, right, you're on the up, you're a hot name, everyone's talking about you. Here's $5,000 a month to do one picture of a month of us holding our drink. It's like you've seen Samson with the Celsius and the top's not even taken off. And it's like, you think about it, imagine, I mean, I'm not saying I know the figures, but imagine like doing that and then just say, okay, pitch it right, that's X amount going to my account every month, and thinking what you have to do to get that, because companies that want to be aligned with you, they want to be associated with you. Like I spoke to one promoter when it all this kicked off with me last October, November. Yeah. And he said to me, he said, Giles, he says, I'm glad I've seen this. He said, because I was thinking about booking him for next year. He says, but now, he says, I won't touch him with a barge pole. He says, and I know that other promoters, because all the promoters, they all talk, and the industry's not as big as you think. It's not as big as you think that you can do that and go unnoticed. That's why, like, I don't have a black mark against my name, because I've never screwed anyone over. I've never, do you know what I mean? It's like, that's an achievement. That's something I actually see as one of my biggest achievements, is the fact that I've managed to be so long in the industry, and there's no embarrassing story where something I did that was so stupid or so reckless or so awful to someone, or something so bad, that, or embarrassing that people could bring that up 20, 30 years later. Because unfortunately, we do get remembered for the bad things, sometimes more than the good things. So I think it's all that good work you do, you don't want to be erased by one stupid, moment of weakness or, sort of lack of self-control or something. So right now, Martin needs to be sort of just keeping a lid on it, because it's going to affect his income. And you can say, I don't care. I don't care about money and stuff like that. But what about in 5-10 years time, when your career's done, potentially, because how many bodybuilders have come to the end of their career and they're like, oh shit, I mean, to be honest, I remember Dorian, man. Dorian really turned himself around, because Dorian he didn't have a good reputation, let's just say, in terms of certain business aspects, because of his behavior and what he was doing and stuff like that. And it got to the point where, like, a Mr. Olympia, should be, sort of being able to retire and live off it. But there was a little bit of a time when he was kind of struggling and looking around for people to sort of work with, and everyone was just looking at the floor, because, like, oh, I heard how it went with this company and that company or this. And eventually, like, I could think of 2 other names actually as well, that you think, be careful how you treat people on the way up, because on the way down, you're going to need those people. Yes. And the thing is, people talk, Ron. This
industry is so small, small.
Ron, I had a tour. I wanted to have him at the expo. So you're talking guest appearances, guest posings. I'm linked. I'm linked to all these expos and different pro shows and stuff like that. I could have. I did actually put a figure on it. I actually put a figure on what he lost by not apologizing, because that whole non-apology thing, that wasn't for my benefit. I didn't give a shit. It didn't really bother me. It didn't really faze me. But it was for his benefit. That was the plot twist, because I kept it quiet. I didn't say to anyone. I said, no, this is actually for his benefit, because if he does this, it's going to look good on him. And then it's put to bed and it's dealt with. And then he can move forward, and everyone forgets about it, and everyone's onto everyone's looking to the future rather than thinking, oh, do you hear about this? That wasn't really resolved, was it? So you give these people another chance, another opportunity to make things right, because we all say things in the heat of the moment and stuff like that. Some people, I wasn't really that pissed off about it. It was just a bit of a shock, So he needs to be careful, because thing is, now companies, like, I saw some on some of the comments on one of the recent posts, on the Fuad post, and people were tagging in, like, Raw Nutrition, saying, drop this guy. We won't buy off you. We don't want to be associated with you. And the thing is, I'll be honest, Ron, I don't like seeing that. It makes me kind of sad, because I no one wants to see these guys crash and burn. No one wants to see him get disgraced or kicked out of the industry or go to jail or do something that would send him to jail or something that because these are the superstars. We want to have people flocking to see them at the shows and buying tickets and going to the expos and queuing up to see him and buying his merchandise and sign pictures. We don't want to see people going, oh God, is that whispering in the background, because it's not good for the industry and it's not good for him. So I really, really hope that he sort of thinks about that, because he needs to. Because you can think, I don't care, I'm good, I've got loads of money in the bank, but you know what? Money can run out, opportunities can run out, and you burn enough bridges, mate, and you look around and there'll be none left.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to going from making a very good income to making much less income. Boom, like that. It's happened to me a couple times in my life. So yeah.
Me too. I know the first time it's because I got cocky. I got cocky in life, my general attitude. I thought I was untouchable. I thought the money would never end. And then boom, and then it's like the universe has a way of humbling you and of correcting the balance. And I'm telling you, that's why if you believe in things like karma and certain things like that, and also reciprocation, because I'm big on reciprocation. Like I consider myself a very, very polite person, but if you're a dick to me, then you're going to kind of have to expect the same energy back. And that's how it should be in life. I should treat you, Ron, how I expect you to treat me. You should be and treat everyone equally. That's why I think me and Ronnie get on so well, because I speak to him like an equal. I don't bow down to him and Ronnie Coleman. It's just I speak to him like I speak to you, Ron, like a normal friend. It's and I think speak to him like a normal human being. So anyway, sorry, Tiger rant over.
So guys, we don't hate Martin. We don't wish anything bad upon him.
No.
He is still a young 29 is a young guy. I have kids younger than that. I mean, older than that. So, I just hope he improves the attitude a little bit and watches, be a little more careful in the things he says, the things he posts, because what you're doing now as a bodybuilder, because we've seen guys, we've both been around long enough. What you're doing now as a young, active, highly ranked competitor, people are gonna remember that years later when the stage is long gone. And every bodybuilder, every pro bodybuilder is just one major injury or illness away from it's over. And you gotta figure out what else to do with your life.
Yeah, I just I want to see him, because do you know what? This is where I feel like the Pro League could step in and give him a quiet. This is where like Pete McGough came in handy, because he probably would have picked up the phone and said, "Martin, son, I've been watching, online and seeing what I've been hearing. It's like maybe just between you and me, this, you don't have to tell anybody about this phone call, but son, maybe this isn't the best way to go about things. Maybe you need to to rethink your approach and maybe think how you deal with situations and kind of give them that kind of like nurturing, caring, sort of fatherly pep talk, because this is what I feel like I said, the Pro League, I think, should step in. I think maybe a quiet phone call and say, Martin, this stuff we're hearing and see online, we're not going to reprimand you, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be to your benefit. If you want to continue, then that's on you, but just to let you know that there's certain opportunities and whatever that won't, because I've heard before where people have had like a sort of, a private phone call and it's helped them immensely. And they look back and they talk about it like 20 years later and say, oh yeah, remember Chris Cormier telling me, he says, Peter, when Peter died and I did that tribute episode, and I heard about the stuff where Peter would actually contact these athletes and, Chris said to me, he said he did it to me more like 2 or 3 times. Yeah. He'd say, son, this is, and that's the kind of stuff I used to like to hear about, sort of Peter, because we need people like that in the industry that, because like I said, we want good things for these athletes. We want to see them succeed. We don't want to see them crash and burn and get booted out the industry and disgraced. And I know some people love all that. And I know some of these outlets, they thrive on the negativity. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's more than one as well. There's quite a few of them. They love to see people fail and sort of, and it seems to be, just in the world generally, people love to see people fall from grace and, fall off their perch, and I think that's a really mean-spirited way to look at it. But also one final thing I'd like to talk about. Did you see that guest posing you see with Samson and Yinka? Can you bring that back up again? I'll tell you what really impressed me, and I was really happy to see it as well.
Go back. I'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it was. I was quite really happy to see this. I thought it was very cool, actually. How quick he managed to do it as well. Let's take some doing.
Major on muscle. So. I'll find it. Hang on.
Yeah. Just
Slow.
show it.
So we're going to go to.
You got it.
That's
have
a
a look. Yeah, go to the photos. That's it. Go to the next one. Next one. Samson's arms. Look at Samson's back.
Wow.
Because you know I said about like we're talking about Martin and Samson of Prague. Now Samson, yes, he did what I didn't think was quite possible in those 2 weeks. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to be this." I was sitting on Power. I said, "Come on, guys, I think people are going to be disappointed because you can't regain 20 pound of muscle, 25 pound of muscle in 2 weeks." But he did regain a lot of fullness, which I didn't think was possible in 2 weeks. So I hold my hands up to that one. I was super impressed with what Samson brought. But the only thing, and Ildiko, that Hungarian judge, she said this as well. Like I said, she was one of the judges. So don't take it from me, from the actual judges. She said that Samson's back kind of wasn't kind of how it was when he won the Olympia, and you could see that his back was not as good, but everything else kind of looked nice and full and almost back to the Samson of 2024. Yeah. His back, look at his back now. He's really, because that was the one thing that he was kind of missing. Because even if you look at the Arnold Classic when he got second to Derek, you could see his back, his rear lat spread, his radial bicep was kind of down a little bit. Everything else looked fine, but it looked like the back was going backwards. And then at Olympia, I know everything was down, but the back was really gone. And even in Prague, it was still not as good as it was. So there was a regression there. But looking at this, and the thing is, he's in good enough condition you can clearly see that he has regained a lot of the muscle. So good on you, Samson, for getting that back, because the back shots are very, very important. I mean, if you look at the rear lat spread when he won the Olympia, I mean, at the finals, his rear lat spread was as good as it gets. It was absolutely phenomenal. Yes. So I was really, really happy to see Samson's back looking, back to normal. So I'm actually feeling very optimistic for how he's going to do this year. And personally, hands up. I mean, I'll freely admit it. I'd love to see him and Andrew the final two at the Olympia.
Oh, come on now. Who wouldn't? Yeah. All right. Well, that is
his arms.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's 350, 355.
And Ron, I've got to say it. One final thing is I hope his health is good, because you're pushing those kind of body weights, and I know it's impressed, and I know it's exciting. It's a great talking point, and all the fans love it, and it's all great. And even if you know how sharp his abs are at that weight. I mean, it's not. I mean, normally when guys get anything over 300, their abs are just gone. It's just like their waist is just a big block. So he's holding that really, really well. I mean, I'm really, really impressed. He's done it really well, and he doesn't. I just, like I said, I just hope everything's good internally, because we don't want to see him end up with any issues because of what he's tried to do to try and get that Olympia title back. I think it'd be really, well, we just don't want that.
No, I mean, we wish for the best for him. But yeah, he's looking phenomenal. And I would not be one bit surprised if he gets his Olympia title back this year.
He could. Yeah, he could.
Absolutely could.
Good comeback as well. Good comeback story, because that Olympia was disastrous for him. I mean, it was, and the thing is, I think about this in the kitchen the other day. I was thinking, like, it's sad, isn't it? In bodybuilding, you can put double the effort in and get half the results.
Yeah.
You think about, because like I saw there was on his Instagram, somebody showed some footage of him 2 or 4 weeks out of 287, and he looked perfect. Do you want to bring that up quickly?
Where was it?
It was on his Instagram. Somebody, because I'm blocked, but it's somebody reshared it on another Instagram feed, social
stories, maybe. No.
Where is it? If you bring it up and you'll see on the squares, I'll be able to spot it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But he was just right. 286, because even 287 is kind of on the lighter side for Samson. When he was, if he was 304 or whatever when he won the Olympia, that's still quite under. But if he just, thing is, you got to dry out and stuff like that. I mean, £7 on a guy that size. I mean, you could, that's you could lose that more than that overnight, really, almost.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you got it?
No, it was a fairly recent post.
Yeah, bring it up and I'll be able to spot it. I saw it before.
Oh, it's not up right now. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad, guys.
Bring it up. Yeah, because his glutes and everything, hams nice and tight, and he's just, it's almost like he couldn't have held it. Go up. That one there. Right, down. No, right. Right, down.
Down.
Right. I think that's the one. See, is he 287 there? Is he 287? Oh, is that off season?
No, this is more recent. This is a week ago.
Oh, forget it. No, because there was one I saw and he was 287, and I think it was. I'm sure it must have been 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks out, and he looked bang on. Maybe looked a bit flat, but it was almost like, okay, now let's fill out. But obviously, so what I'm saying is, he obviously felt, okay, let's go that extra mile. So instead of backing off, he kind of decided to go double as hard, and unfortunately, the body rebelled, and it gave him a look that it was not something he was looking for. It didn't give him a harder look. He pushed too hard. It's like with bodybuilders, these pros getting injuries, like right before a show. It's like the mind is stronger than the body. When they're at that point, it shows you just how mentally strong these guys are. Because it's sad, isn't it? Like how disappointed you'd feel walking off stage at that Olympia, knowing that you doubled your efforts and you slipped. It must be very frustrating. That's the thing with bodybuilding. The body is so sensitive. You got to, like Dorian always said, he said, there was one thing I wished I'd done differently. He said, I wished I'd backed off on the poundages the last weeks before the show. He said, because that's how I tore my tricep. That's how I tore my bicep. That's how you get injuries, because the joints are dry. And if you're taking Winstrol, there's very little fluid in the joints. But the thing is, bodybuilders have got such a fierce mentality that they have to push harder. And sometimes you got to know, that's where I think a good coach comes in. Like someone like Neil Hill used to say, like sometimes he'd be telling Flex to, we said you saw Flex doing, dumbbell curls with hammer curls with 100-pound dumbbells. And it was like something like 6 weeks out from Olympia. And he said he remembers ringing Flex and just going crazy at him because, because Neil's like, he's like Patrick Tuor. He's very, very, he gets so involved when he's with his main clients. It's like they go absolutely apeshit. Like they almost get. I mean, Patrick's told me many times he's always got into like physical fights with some of his athletes because he's that passionate about what he does. It's like I told you many times. I saw when Flex was carving up for that Open when he did the Arnold Classic Europe, and I was in the room and I was like, it was really uncomfortable. I think Guy Sistanina was in there. It was me, Guy. Flex was on the bed groaning because he's sweating with his fan on him because he had so much food in him. And Neil was like, you haven't fucking eaten that rice. Honestly, I was like, whoa, guys, we're going to have to get in between you. And it was like, and Flex looked at me, rolled his eyes to say, oh, this is normal. But, that level of passion, that's what basically separates, the good athletes from the really good athletes. That's what basically allows these guys to be their best. We don't see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I mean, the Ruli and Sybil, when Ruli came up from the sunbed room downstairs and with his head down, his hoodie up, and he didn't even acknowledge me. He just didn't even say goodbye to me or anything. I had to get a taxi back to the hotel because he was supposed to drive me back. And the owner had put the music up because when they went down to the sunbed room, that's when you knew that everyone would be looking at the floor because you knew that was row time. That was the argument time, because he was going to get a telling off for something he had done or hadn't done, But it's these coaches don't mess around sometimes, because their reputation on the line and stuff. They'll be they don't fuck around, mate.
And guys, if you haven't seen my Neil Hill interview, it's just in back of that on this channel, so check that out.
Was it good?
Oh, I love Neil. I could talk to him every day.
He could talk for hours, Neil.
I mean, I could talk to him for hours. We're both very, anybody who loves the sport and has been passionate about it for like 20, 30, 40 years, I could talk to them all damn day. Get nothing.
The thing is, like you and I get sometimes a bit pissed off for certain things that go on in the industry, and we sometimes vent on our little group chat and stuff privately, because we wouldn't talk about it on something like this because you don't want to put that out. Because it's like sometimes we got to take the rough with the smooth. There's a lot of great things about this industry. There's a lot of not great things about this industry. Some things frustrate us, But sometimes it's when you get someone that really loves it, it also rekindles. Like I go through periods where, like after Prague and stuff, and all that stuff with Samson, all the Milos and everything. Like there's times when I'm just like, am I just wasting my time, wasting my life here? Do I need to go and do something else? But then you'll connect with someone like a Neil, or we talk about a show or something. We get excited about how Andrew Jack looked at his last show, and then you're reminded why you love the industry so much, and you can't leave. It's like an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. All right, guys. Well, follow us on Instagram. Yes, Giles Tiger Thomas, Giles_Tiger, and of course Ron Harris Muscle.
Ron, can't believe you haven't commented on my lovely pink shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm always looking at the Gasp shirt. which is the tiger
Pink-
colors. The
Pink
tiger.
to make the girls wink.
I've seen shirts say "Real men wear pink."
Yeah.
Great AC/DC song is called "Sink the Pink." But,
Oh.
anyway, yeah. That is it, guys. So drop some comments below. We love to hear from you, whether you love us, hate us, or are indifferent. Anything to comment on about all the things we talked about in this episode. Drop it.
Ron,
Yeah.
so one final thing. Look, I think one of the worst things in life you can be is a hypocrite. And if somebody calls me out on being a hypocrite, then my pride wants to tell them to piss off. But someone said I was a bit wrong for saying that thing about Brandon Curry, about the white guy thing, about Dorian. Somebody said I was wrong. 2 people commented on the comments and I was wrong to do so. If I did, I apologize because I love Brandon. I want to put that out there. I love Brandon. And I didn't, that was not my intention. And if that was the case, then I that was my bad. That was my mistake. But I just, somebody called me out on it. And, most people who follow our show, watch our show, watched it before, they've got good intent towards us as we do towards the sport and the guys in it. So, it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. This, like I said about reciprocation. So if I was looking like I was trying to stir trouble for Brandon, trust me, I was not. And if I did cause him any issues or well, I apologize. So yeah, I want to put that out there.
Duly noted. All right. Well, that's been another awesome episode of Power Hour. Well, thank Giles Tiger Thomas, or as people sometimes call him Batman. And that's it. We will see you next week when we talk at length about the Arnold Classic, which at that point will just be 2.5 weeks away. Coming right up. So that's it. Thanks for watching Power Hour, guys. We'll see you